what I've got here is 3 different images that I prepared in I don't know, I either prepared them in Firefox or Photoshop or something, but they're PNG. And many times you're faced with a situation with a customer in a website, and they have this idea for a banner, and they want a background picture, and that background picture, let's say it might be the Grand Canyon, and then they want a burrow in the top left corner, and maybe they want a picture of themselves in the bottom right or something like that. So that's not a problem. You get into Photoshop and you load in the picture of the Grand Canyon, and then you overlay a picture of the burrow on the second layer, move it up to where you want it, and then you move a picture of the client down to the bottom right and on the third layer, and you get it all set up. You might flatten it or not, that depends, but you save it out as a PNG or a JPEG or something. Now you have a single image. So we're going to do that with these 3 guys here, but we're not going to do it in Photoshop. And there's a reason for that. How many times have some of y'all that do web development gotten an image ready to go with somebody, and they said, oh, well, can you move that donkey down just a little bit? Well, that means to you, you've got to go back into Photoshop, monkey around with the layers, get it set to where you think they want it, create the JPEG or whatever, load it back into the website, and then bring it up and say, is that what you want? And they're sitting there going, oh, well, okay, move it off to the right just a little bit, and here you go again. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at a way that HTML will actually allow you to do some of this in the code. Well, what you see here, and I'm going to be highlighting some things, but what I showed you was an actual view of a website which had these 3 images displayed. The one was the main image. You saw that, the name of it on the image. That was the big one. And then you saw the second one, which was an image 2. And the bottom one was an image 3. But what I want to do is I want to overlay image 2 and 3 on top of the main image. Now, there are ways you can play around using divs, and you can have a div, and then you can open up a div within inside the div, and you can monkey around with that picture. But what you're actually having to do is put that picture in the web page, and I want to show you a way that we can use a background image and do the same thing. Let me see. Let me get rid of some of this here, and do the same thing in CSS. Okay, so right now I've got these 3 images. Well, one of the things that the background image stuff will allow you to do is you can actually load more than one picture in the one background image CSS rule. So I have the background image here, and I'm going to try to move off to the right if it'll let me, so that you can see the whole line of code. You'll notice that I've got, let me see if I can put this up here somewhere. This is in my way. Okay. I've got actually 3 images listed. I have, and they're separated by commas. And the end of the line, I've got the semicolon. We all know that punctuation is extremely important when messing with CSS. And then down below that, I have background position, background size, and background repeat. And you'll notice that each one of those has 3 individual values separated by commas also. And as you might expect, those values map to the picture that's in the same order as that value. So left space 25px would actually map to what I want done with image 2. Left top would map what I want done with image 3. And left top would map what I want done with image, the main image. The key is this is layered. The first one you get to is the layer that's closest to you. So it's the top layer. The next one is a layer below that. And the next one is a layer below that. So what you have is, and I have background sizes 10%, 20%, 100%, and then no repeat, no repeat, no repeat. And that, and for those of you all that do web development, when you use no repeat, you're just saying, I want to show that background image one time and don't repeat it. If you do repeat it, a lot of people put up like a pattern in the top left-hand corner and they say repeat it. And it'll just take and repeat that thing all throughout the page so that you have a pattern on your entire page. Okay, so that's all I did was change that. Now, one of the advantages of doing this way is I can come down, and if I'm doing a responsive website, and you'll notice I have a max width here of 768. That's typically for like a phone. I can do the same thing with that and give this different values. So in this case, I've said I only want to see 2 images, and I want them both to be left top, one at 50% and one at 100%, and I don't want to repeat either one. So I can do that now, so I have complete control over what happens when it's desktop size or desktop screen size versus maybe a tablet or a telephone. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is we're gonna go back into the source code for the HTML, and I'm probably going to have to mess around with my screen share again, but I'm going to try to display what this looks like. Oh, wait a minute. I've still got the other thing. I've got the div commented out that I wanted to use. So I'm going to take and move the comments around a little bit so that we're actually now looking what we were seeing before, those 3 images, as using the image tag. I'm now just using a div with a class called navigation bar row, and the CSS that we saw applying to that element was applying to this navigation bar row. So I'm going to try, let me see if I can do a little saving here. And now you should be able to see a web page that's got those 3 images, one on top of the other. And you'll notice that that green one is down 25%. And the reason is, if you've ever messed with CSS, you have a top, right, bottom, left kind of thing going on here. And you can use all of those things in these background images to put those images exactly where you want them. So if my client told me, I think that green image should be a little bit more to the right, then I can just go into the CSS, make that one change, and show it to him right there on the spot. I don't have to worry about Photoshop, saving out a new picture, reloading the picture, getting rid of the old picture, or whatever I have to do. It's all done here in CSS.